Yes, I know, we're late. It's okay. It's just hot. It's all melty. Anyway, welcome. Pro Synth Network Show, PSN, live on Friday, the 27th of June. It is 3 minutes past 7 here in the UK and probably 3 minutes past the hour, wherever you might be in this big, big, wide world of ours. Wherever you are, welcome. Thanks for stopping by. And I hope that you are all well. I hope that you are fine since we last met, which of course could have been last night because we did a very special show last night. More about that a little bit later on. But thanks for joining us, and I hope that wherever you might be, it's not too warm or muggy as it is here. So I'm going to make an apology right now. Windows are open, so street noise and wind blowing things, which isn't really cooling me down at all. And there's fans in the background. And probably a slight dripping sound as I slowly melt into my chair. But enough of that. That's a picture you don't want in your head. We've got some news to talk through this week, which is great. Don't have any special guests this week, but we have more coming soon to the show. But before we do any of that stuff, let me just kindly remind you, if you haven't already, to give us a like. And a comment. If you want to comment during the show, you can use any of the chat platforms within the platform you're watching on. So whether it's YouTube, Facebook, or TikTok, you can talk to us through there. But do give us a thumbs up and a like or whatever it is that you can do on that platform that you're watching. And if you haven't already, please, please, please do subscribe to us. It does help enormously with lots of things. I shan't go into the messy details. And of course, you can share our link to anyone that might enjoy it. Stick it on your social media. Tell everyone that this is a wonderful show every Friday night. If you're into this kind of thing, so yeah, that'd be great if you could do all of that. Thank you very much. And we are, of course, all over the social media platforms. We are on here on YouTube, of course, on Facebook, on Twitch. We're also on Blue Sky, Instagram, and Threads. And we're still on TikTok for some bizarre reason. I haven't even looked at that platform in months. We might have 1 million subscribers over there by now. Chances are probably not. But yeah, if you want to follow us on any of those, you can do. The one we're most active on is the Facebook group. But yeah, you can do that. If you want to support the channel, there are a number of ways that you can do so, because we are completely community based and we rely on your generosity and donations to help keep us on the air. So it's all your fault, basically. You can, of course, give super chat and super stickers in YouTube as you're watching live. That's completely possible. And if you're watching on YouTube after the event, there's a big thanks button underneath. Does the same sort of thing. So you can donate that way. YouTube does take a small cut, but the rest of it comes to us, and it helps go into the license fund to pay for all of this stuff. You can also support us in probably what I would say is the best way to support us, because we get the largest part of this, of whatever you decide to subscribe to. It's a minimum of $2, and it's our Patreon page. But the benefit of the Patreon page is that you get free stuff. And we're going to talk about some new free stuff a little bit later on, but you do get free stuff. You get free sound patches, you get free videos, you get free instruments, all sorts of wonderful things. I was always very hesitant to do a Patreon because I thought, how much stuff can we give? We give a little, but I tell you what, it's you guys giving to us to give back to the community that's really taken off over there. So we've got sounds from our very own Andrew Longhurst and James Dyson, Mark Barnes, Jeff from Custom Sonics, who we were going to talk about in just a minute, or a little bit later on in the show. Who else have we had sounds from? I can't remember now. There are plenty. And if you feel very altruistic and want to donate some sounds to the cause, to give away to our Patreon members and our YouTube channel members, then please do get in touch and let us know. We are so grateful for all those people that have supported us and pushed us on. So that's really cool. So Patreon is minimum $2 a month. That's all you need. You don't have to. You can stop and start as often as you like. And the same goes for YouTube channel membership. You can join as a YouTube channel member. Same deal. Minimum $2. You get all that free stuff as well. Exclusive videos without ads, free sounds. Yeah, all sorts of wonderful things. So it's a really, really it's a two-way thing. You give us a little, we give you a little, everyone's happy. The other way that you can support us is through our merchandise store. You can buy t-shirts, kind of like this, all different colors with our logos on, and all sorts of stuff. And there's water bottles, which are very useful at the moment. These things, I was talking about this last night. This is one of my favorite things right now. It's a 32 ounce insulated. Let me just do the sound. I say it again. Makes a lovely ringing sound as well. But this holds 32 ounces of your chosen fluid, whatever that might be, and it keeps it warm or cool or whatever temperature it is. It's lovely, and they're about $24.99 in the shop, and they're very well built. And there's not many in the world at the moment. But you can buy merchandise, and again, we get a little bit of that, so that's cool. So you can support us in that way. I think I've done hoiking our wares all around, so we'll have enough of that. All of the links, by the way, are in the descriptions below the video, so click on any of those if you so wish. We don't have any synthspirations this week, unfortunately, but if you are thinking of doing a synthspirations, we'll tell you how to do that a little bit later on. We've had some corkers, some real corkers, and we want more. We want more. Give us more. So we'll tell you about how to do a synthspirations later on. But I'm going to stop talking now because I'm a bit thirsty. So I'm going to bring in my fellow co-hosts for the evening, as always. They're old and they're crusty, but we love them nonetheless. And the oldest and the crustiest has to be Mr. Kent Spong.
Yeah, and probably the smelliest. I had to dig this out of the wash. I smell like a Trump's gusset at the moment.
Ew.
Yeah. So, no, I actually turned the computer on and I was up here early.
And then?
And then the trackball decided, oh, do you know what? I don't think I'm going to work anymore. And I had to go hunt for batteries. Then put the new batteries, and then it wouldn't connect. And it's like, and I had to restart the computer, and it's like, oh, God. So, and this is just coming off the phone with, well, what struck me as a very nice gentleman, at least at the start of the phone call, who claimed to have a driver's door for a Mustang.
Okay.
1972, but it's 1970 to 73 is the same door. It's fine.
Okay.
I go, cool, because I'm looking for a driver's door, and how much do you want for it? And he said, he was talking about 180 quid, which I thought was cheap, but okay. And yes, and it turns out, yes, it's the driver's door if you live in the UK. I said, but it's an American car. When you say it's the driver's door, it means it's the door that is on the driver's side of the American car, not the driver's side of the... Oh. Anyway, but it took 25 minutes for us to actually establish which side of the car door he had. So I said, is it on the left? And he said, well, is that looking at the car from the front or from the...
Oh, my word.
Look. So, yeah, okay.
I can imagine that was quite stressful.
Well, it turns out it's the wrong door, so...
Oh, all that.
After all that, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
well.
and then they came up here and the computer decided that he wanted to do a Trump press office on me. And just throw loads of useless crap at me for no apparent reason. So, but here I am, and still slightly alive, but only just.
Good.
To be fair, only just alive.
Good.
Still,
well, good.
How are you?
I'm very well. I'm hot and sweaty, but other than that, not bad. Not bad. Thank you. Welcome as always. The other old and crusty unit that we have on display here is, of course, Andrew Longhurst. How are you, sir?
Old and crusty.
Old and crusty.
Old and crusty. Old and crusty. Yeah, no, I'm fine. I've had really, those days where you just get booked, but you have lots and lots of people and meetings and things all back to back, and you get to the end of the day and it's been a hot one, and you just go, flip it. What the? So yeah, I met, you probably all know Ray Bellis. Ray Bellis, I think, is it Emus on Acid or Emus Online? He's one of those guys that does a lot of programming, doing interfaces and converters and things for Emu products. And I think he's got a set of flash sims and things. Well, he came over. He was having his car serviced, and we spent 2 hours just talking utter bollocks, which was brilliant. And then the cats had to be taken to the vet, and they didn't want to. They were doing the all paws out. No, I'm not getting in the cage stuff. And Mr. Evans normally throws up after he's been to the vet, just before we get home. He hates car journeys.
I always
But
think
today
you're talking
he
of
threw
Matt
up.
when you say that.
He threw up on the way there, and then he threw up as soon as he got back in the car at the other end. So we had the stink of cat sick all the way back. It wouldn't go.
Oh God.
Oh no.
So I'm in a good
Okay,
mood
you win.
today.
Your day was worse.
Yeah, my cat decided. One of my cats decided to hurl on the lightest coloured carpet. Actually, the only carpet that's in a room on the ground floor. Everything else is either wood or tile, and no, it just chooses the carpet. So we had to clean that up, which I think we've managed to get away with on that one. But yeah, do you know the best way to get a cat into a basket is to put the basket on the ground with the door facing up and let gravity help you, and you just take the cat and then they drop in, and they have, and then it's much more difficult for them to get out. It was somebody mentioned that to my wife, and we've done that ever since. It's the easiest way to get them in.
I did that today, but seriously, Madge was fine. She just got in, sat down, closed the top of the thing on, and that was it. She was fine. This one, Mr. Evans just did that and fought every inch of the way and left his tail out and his paw out and just did everything to avoid it. He was not best pleased. I think he might have forgiven
Well, it's
me.
the same with the dogs. I mean, except we go, get in the car, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
Well, we've
when we
actually
go
taken
in,
that.
we go,
The
somewhere
little
nice.
one, the little cat that we've got. This is great synth talk, by the way. But synths and cats, they're symbiotic, aren't they?
Yeah.
Our littlest cat, the eternal kitten, she has a nasty habit of having a little wee in her basket when she's traveling. So we found these pads. They're specially designed for the bottoms of cat trays, and they're like tenor for cats. They're brilliant. They soak everything up, and they kills the odor as well. It's brilliant. But we thought she gets quite distressed, so we thought, well, why don't we just let her loose in the car, but on a leash? So she travels on a leash in the car, and she only goes in the basket if we really need to, and she's quite happy with that. So
That's interesting.
yeah,
That's interesting.
They are what they
Jer-
are. Bless them.
Jer just posted, didn't Andrew work for Emu?
Did he?
Jer,
Did you?
Jer,
Did you know about this, Ken?
No. This is
No
news
one's-
to me.
this is something I've never told anyone.
Never.
No.
How the hell did you find that out?
How did you keep
Yeah.
that secret for so long?
How did you?
I'm flabbergasted.
I don't
I'm
like to talk about it, to be honest.
That's nice and cold.
Hang on. No, I don't like to talk. No, I'm not going to talk about it. That's that
Okay.
simple.
Well, let's tell you what. Let's talk about some stuff that's happened, because we've had some stuff happen this week. We will kill some time with actual discussion topics of some description. There is an additional one that I've added to the list that only got added shortly before the show, so I apologise to you gents, because you probably not had a chance to look at it. But it's not that important. Anyway, we'll get to that in a short while. But I think first of all, we need to talk about FM. There you go. This is brand new from GeForce. I'm so glad I can actually talk about this thing because I've known about this for a while. It's a lovely thing. It's called Halogen FM. Unsurprisingly, it's an FM synthesizer, but it's a 2-operator FM synthesizer. And the whole point of this FM synth is to make FM sound design really, really easy. Now, I don't find it particularly difficult. I can kind of get my head around it. Don't ask me about Bessel functions because I'll just tell you to go and speak to Dr. Manny. But I understand what does what. But this just makes doing FM really, really easy. And it sounds really good. It's a 2-operator FM synthesizer that is based on, so we are told, a rare Japanese FM synthesizer. Now, when I quizzed Jerome about this, I said, come on, what is it? And he said, I'm not going to tell you. We'll save that one. So I think they probably will reveal it at some point. But it's inspired by, based on a rare Japanese 2-op FM synth. And all he would tell me is that it's not Yamaha. So that, I don't know, it could be anything. It could be one of those cheap Casio things. Korg did a little bit of that kind of stuff. Who knows? But whatever it is, it sounds absolutely incredible. As Nick says, 2-op FM, every sound card made in the 1990s. But yeah, this is Halogen FM. It is available now. As I said, it's a 2-operator FM synthesizer. The joy of FM without the headaches. And it has this very, very unique function. Well, I say unique. A simple function that makes everything very easy. So let me just take that off screen at the moment, and let's stop that, and let's bring the actual plugin into the show. Here we go, and let's add that to the stage. Right, so here is Halogen FM in all of its glory. As you can see, you've got 2 operators on the left and the right. So operator 1, operator 2. Yeah.
Is it me, or does that look like a Cockney geezer walking down the street? Oh, yeah.
It does a little bit. It does got the waddle. What?
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Oi, oi. So basically, if you look at the operators, you've got ring modulation, you've got the ratio setting there, you've got the frequency setting, and then brightness, distortion, and timbre. So everything's like really nice and easily named. Pan and volume, of course, and then you've got these 2 envelopes here, one for modulation and one for amplitude. Of course, we don't have filters. And then next to some of these features, you've got smaller controls for aftertouch, velocity, modulation levels, amplitude levels. So you just dial in those little bits, and they all relate to the control that they're next to. And it's repeated over in operator 2. Operator 2 can cross mod operator 1 as well, so you can use that to modulate operator 1, which is, you get some really wild and crazy stuff going on there. At the top of the stuff there, if you hit that little plus button, it'll reveal an LFO, which you can assign to all the parameters that are marked in orange, because again, it's using the color coding, very ARP-esque color coding. And then you've got this lovely reverb, which you can apply. And then there's a glide function, a pitch envelope, and a tuning function. And then down at the bottom, you've got a bunch of macros that allow you to mess around with the timbre, the envelope generators, the modulation, and the effects. It could be mono, it could be poly. And there's a mix function there to give you, dead in the middle gets you both operators, and then left or right will bias one of those. But you might notice these little stars that are appearing around here. So there's one here at the top. You'll see one next to each operator label at the top there. You'll see one below each macros. And these are the sparks. And if you hit one of these sparks, it is basically a random generator. So if you hit that spark at the top, that randomly generates a complete new patch. Every setting will be set at a random setting. But if you do the ones next to the operators, then you just get randomization of the parameters of that particular operator. Or you can randomize the macros there. So if you hit that at the top, you'll see everything changes, and the visualizer in the middle, pink and green depending on the operators, will show you what's happening with that. And if you hit it again, you'll see it's doing lots of different things. And the thing I found about this is that every time I was generating a new patch using this Spark function, they were actually fairly usable patches in most cases. There were some that were less usable than others, but there was nothing really awful. So I don't know what's going on in the background here, whether there's some sort of algorithm that is keeping things within nice parameters. But it's a very cool way of just clicking through, and then when you find something you really like, then you can just start tweaking it and honing it to your tastes. So yeah, it's just when I first saw this, I thought, oh gosh, this is weird. This is completely not GeForce. But the more I've lived with it, it's total GeForce because it's simple and effective, sounds amazing. And yes, it does, as Steve points out in the chat, it does actually name the patches automatically as well. So it's great because if you find one, you can save it and then just go back to it because you can remember the name. And yeah, there's that's it. That's basically it. It's so simple. And as you heard in the demo, it's a lovely sounding thing. And in terms of presets, there's a huge amount. There's 320 odd presets in here. So you got basses, effects, hits, keys, leads, pads, and textures, and there's all these other types as well, and timbres, and the patches are all over here. And I'm very honoured to say that there's a whole bunch of my patches in there. There's even more of Manny's, and Manny's are just amazing. I'm sat here, I was trying to think, should I do something that's similar to this, that, and no, I'll try and do something that's a bit way out there. And then I listened to Manny's stuff, and it's just like, oh, jeez, why do I even bother? But they're really good. They're really, really good. So there's lots of great sounds in here. And Dave Spears has done some, and Graham's done some, and there's a whole bunch of other great sound designers on board. So lots to start off with in there. So there you go. That is GeForce's new synth, the Halogen FM. Gentlemen, either of you like to take this one to start?
I will, if you like.
Go on then.
So I downloaded this, and I'll just straight up front, I'm going to buy this. I'm just going to go onto their site and buy it. If they did this as hardware, I'd buy it. And the reason is it does do what it says on the tin. It makes FM simple. Not only does it make it simple, but it feels really organic and really analog. It just has that feel about it that it doesn't feel digital. I mean, you can make it that way, but it starts off from a it just seems to feel much more in line with all the other stuff I love. I think they have done a spectacularly good job. And the Spark function, you're right, there's not a single one that's come up where I've hit Spark on the demo where it doesn't sound fab. Yeah. It's not a really good, I may not want to use it, but it's a usable every single one of them. I don't know how they're doing it either. There's some AI there somewhere. But I love this. The only thing I was puzzling over is with two operators, you're expecting to see somewhere the sort of feedback, and I can't see where that is in either of them, or exactly how they connect. But I kind of don't care. It just works, and it sounds astonishing. I love it. I love it. I think it's really the movement. Just four envelopes. I mean, it's just it's glorious.
Polyphonic aftertouch as well. Pitch bending as well. Not fully MPE, as Steve Elbows informs me. But it's on the path, shall we say? But yeah, it is a lovely thing. Ken.
Well, I love anything that comes out that allows me to use my Rise. Or my Rise 2, or my Seaboard, because there's not that much out there. It appears there is, but the Rises don't always talk to them very well, or at all in some cases. But but I mean, as you know, the OB8 one that they did was technically, if you pulled the hood off, was actually an FM based synth, just not sounding it. So there's good background with them anyway, and
it's this was kind of inevitable in a way, given that most of those Oberheims are FM synthesizers under the hood. Yeah,
exactly. So we need that when they did actually go forth and do a proper full-on FM, that it was going to be a good one.
Yeah,
and so it's good because it's simultaneously doesn't sound FM and does sound FM. And you'll hear patches go, oh, that's FM. And then you hear patches go, is that FM? You know, that kind of thing. Or you can have them both mixed together and go, wait a minute, is that FM or not? So it gives it a much more interesting texture. So if I had one gripe with it, it would be that animation.
Right.
Because it reminds me of my ocular migraines, and sometimes I'm going like this, because it looks like it's going on in the eye. Although,
do you know, I've not checked. Can you actually disable the animation or have a different display view?
Not to my knowledge. No, you can't change it. I think it's always there.
I mean, it's not the end of the world because I can just put another window over it. But it's just like that. Every now and again, I'm looking at it and going, ugh.
I don't think you can. I don't remember.
I wouldn't worry about it.
Being able to do it.
It'd be very easy to do.
Let me just check the settings because no, nothing in there.
Okay.
No. So, but yeah, it's
there might be hidden code in it to turn us all into Dave Spears slaves.
That's it.
Yeah,
you know, we kind of are already.
Yes, sir. What do you want?
Yeah. But
it sounds lovely. It sounds absolutely lovely, and that
does.
reverb. Oh.
The reverb.
It's nice,
really
isn't it?
Yes, it's a nice one. It's a nice.
I think it's probably just an extension of the reverb they've been putting in a lot of their plugins lately, which is it's just so nice. So
absolutely. Yeah.
And anything which has a Cockney geezer animation on the front, it's got to be good.
Oi, oi,
But it does look like a chef making a pizza base, mustn't
it? I actually found it, in some ways, I found it quite useful.
Well, informative.
Yeah,
as to what was the sound was happening. Yeah, I understand. Yeah,
it's one of the reasons I like, the Essence FM with its screen, and you can see where things are going and you can move things. So I like the fact you get some kind of visual feedback. But this is such a simple synth to operate, and even if you don't fully understand FM, forget the randomized features or the spark feature. Just sit in there and just start messing around with the ratios and seeing what one ratio does, changing the ratio, what it does to the sound, and understand what that does, and then cross-modulate and understand how that affects it. And then you will soon get the basics, the building blocks of FM, which you can then translate to other things, because then you know what this is going to do. But it really has kind of I wouldn't say it's simplified it, it's just made it fun and less
on top of that, right, they're selling it for 33 quid, and I know the amount of work the guys put into these instruments firsthand. You couldn't even start to believe the worry, tears and fighting and
now I'm going to have to go
these.
through and try and pick out which presets you've done, Robbie.
It's very easy because they name them. They've all got my name on, and you can actually filter by author name, but don't hang around mine. I mean,
I'm going to now.
Puricelli, delete.
Yeah. Unfavorite. Check out, seriously though, check out Manny's patches because it's Manny. I mean, some of them sound incredible.
We know about Manny's patches, mate. Don't you worry.
Exactly. But they are.
He's always so incisor sif. So
yeah.
Oh dear God.
Yeah. Anyway, no, I got invited to do some presets, and I was like, really? Okay, yeah, I'll do some. And then I said, oh, you know who you should ask? You should ask Manny. And they said, yeah, we have. And I'm like, okay, that's not put any pressure on me at all.
Yeah.
Not like
your second choice.
Yeah, no, it's not that. It's just I have an inferiority complex anyway, and then to know that I'm making patches for a synthesizer where Manny's making patches, I just think, what's the flipping point? But they got in, so
Well, I made patches for a synth. I had Howard Scarr making patches for it.
Yeah, that's the same sort of thing.
Yeah, it's the same sort of thing, isn't it? And I know what you're talking about.
Actually, it's kind of interesting in that each of us makes patches in our own ways, and we make them for the way we play and the way we perform. And that means that the patches, a bank of patches that you've created, Robbie, will work for people that play in the same style, that have the same kind.
Well, there's about one. That's me.
what that means is all of those will get used and will be useful. They don't have to be everything, lots of stuff going on, just simple patches, but done really well work. So I am going to have a real dig around your once. I'm going to have a dig around your nether regions.
Nice. As the chaps have pointed out, it is only currently 33 British pounds plus VAT, so that brings it probably up to about 40.
Yeah.
It will go up to 66 a little bit later on. But if you are slightly undecided, there's a 7-day trial. So you can download the Mac or the Windows version and run it as a trial for 7 days. I believe it's fully unlimited for that. I don't know if they've turned the save off. But yeah, you can test it out before you buy. But it is really such a lovely, lovely thing. And very glad it's out there, finally.
By the way, just for the avoidance of doubt, I didn't suggest for a minute there that Manny's patches were too complicated and he was a twonk bag. I love him and I love his patches. Just so you know.
No, seriously, check out. You can filter Manny's patches out from the rest. Just go through them. They are spectacular.
Yeah, filter them out.
What he can do with 2 operators, Jesus.
Give him a bit. He gives them a bit of a canine.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
Where is that special effect anyway?
It means I have to turn my noise cancellation off before I do the special effect. It's a little bit too pain in the ass.
I haven't got a
imagine
button here.
Imagine the crickets in your head.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, let's move on, shall we?
Or the maggots in your beef.
This is interesting. What?
Sorry?
This is the Daydreamer synth.
Okay.
Okay, so the Daydreamer synth costs $299 US. It contains 6 analog VCOs, 6 analog VCAs, a white noise generator. It's velocity sensitive, has legato, portamento, and pitch glide. It has a digital to analog envelope generator and a digital to analog LFO. A diode ladder low pass filter, VCF. Can play paraphonic and polyphonic, up to 6 voices. Recycles notes, so you're always hopefully not stealing. It's got a bucket brigade delay. It's completely open source hardware and software, and this is what it looks like. It looks very, very basic. In fact, do you remember what was his name? He was building his own synthesizer. I haven't seen him for yonks. You know the guy. What was his name? Somebody in the chat, help me out here.
David Rossum.
No, it looks like one of his prototypes. It's very much like that. But anyway.
Yeah.
Was it Adrian? No, was it Adrian?
Kent Spong?
Adamski. Not the Adamski.
Oh, Adamski.
But yeah. That's the one.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a wooden enclosure, wooden knobs, wooden switches. All the legend is kind of burned on, which I think is rather cool. And it's this little tabletop synthesizer. It's got MIDI
hipster.
in, MIDI through. It is, isn't it? Yeah, you probably do need a ponytail and a beard for this.
Is it only available in the States or is it available over here?
No, I think you can buy it and then ship it over. I mean, I don't know what the shipping costs would be. Let's I don't know. We can have a look at the little. Let's click the add to cart button. No, I just want to do add to cart. Where's my cart? Here it is. Let's see what the shipping options are, shall we? Check out. I'll end up buying one at this rate. Delivery. It needs me to put an email address in before I do anything else.
And your credit card number. Do that bit.
And my credit card number, yeah.
Yeah.
Go on, let's do that then. Continue. Shipping. Oh, no, you'll put your address. I'm not putting my address in on screen. Nah, you're all right. Thank you very much. We'll assume that the shipping...
Don't worry, nobody's travelled that far north before.
No, that's true. Let's have a quick listen. Let's have a quick listen to this.
Yes.
Let's bring in... Let's see. They didn't do a little mini demo. They had to do a big one. And so I'm having to bring this in from outside. Here we go. Add to stage. Whoa.
Oof.
What's going on there? There we go. So it starts off with this kind of weird sort of clangers sound.
There's a soup dragon.
But let me flick forward a bit. Interesting. Yeah, it doesn't sound awful. It sounds quite interesting, but I'm not entirely sure it's something.
I was hearing note hang where the VCAs weren't shutting off properly. You heard that?
I was hearing tuning differences between each of the oscillators.
That's actually a good thing.
No, it
they
is
were
a
all
good
dead
thing,
on.
but I couldn't see where you would change the tuning on it unless it was a delay thing that was being applied. But it sounds all right. 299 quid.
So I guess the oscillator tuning are those knobs there, the 6 oscillator knobs, because I don't think they're volume controls. I don't know. They all seem to be set at 12 o'clock.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have volume controls for each VCO because you'd have them notes in the cycle not sounding. So
exactly,
playing it as note drop out.
Yeah,
but it did sound like on some of them where there was like this constant output from the VCAs of the VCOs, just not quite reaching the deck properly.
Yeah. Wagyu went through the checkout process, and apparently the United States is the only option.
Oh.
Which is odd.
Didn't like it anyway.
Well, I get the feeling that this is a guy working on his own.
Actually, judging by those hands, it's probably a girl.
Or even a girl. But the video is, I'll be honest with you, wasn't selling the synth.
No.
It wasn't doing the job it was supposed to be doing. I think there's huge potential there, but I think they need somebody to come in and
the fact that it's open source
help sell this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean it's open source. Here are all the schematics that you can download freely, and you can go and build your own version of it if you wanted to, if you felt that way inclined. There's plenty of documentation available for it. There's a GitHub page which will have all the source
impressed with the price. I mean,
yeah,
it looks like the front panel. The reason it's in wood is it's probably laser printing on a CNC, like my Carvera and stuff like that. So it's quite easy. I don't know about the end cheeks on it, but yeah, I mean, good on them.
Yeah,
but I think they really, if they could have somebody come along and go, look, this is how you're going to sell this. This is the way to do it.
Just a couple of buttons extra to be able to give you some different functionality for the knobs. I mean, I was going to say, I was going to do a really pathetic joke about being a not fan because it's wooden. Yeah, not, but actually, I think it's, I know, but actually, I think it's quite charming. I think it's quite charming, and there is something about it that's very.
I wouldn't have
It's
designed
very
it that
basic,
way
but-
myself, but there's something, as you say, sort of like, oh, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the price, I mean, it's a shame about it's US only, but
If it was available over here, I'd be tempted, I think, because it's just... would I? I might be.
well,
There
no,
are
we
other
could, no, we
synths
could
at
do.
that price, but it's kind of nice. It's kind of fun.
No, we could do. You say it's open source, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we'll build one.
Yeah, you should just
Let's see.
build
Oh,
it
that's
from
a good
scratch.
idea.
And then see if there's room to improve on it or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure it would be. So when you go monophonic with it, I'm assuming that there is some level of unison, perhaps.
So there's, if I just go back to this and throw this onto the screen, there we go. So over on the left-hand side, you've got a poly and the mono, but there's nothing about unison. But next to it is what I believe is, choosing how many voices you have. So you've got
allocated,
1, 2,
yeah.
3, and 6. So I wonder if you put it into mono mode and drop it down to 6, do you get all 6 in unison?
You get all 6, but you can then tune them so you can play chords, majors, minors, all that kind of stuff, which is always interesting.
I think I know the chips set they're using on this.
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, it's open source, so you're not giving anything away, are you?
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember the bloody name of it. But you can buy these the VCFs and VCOs kind of thing, and lump them all in, and then you have something similar to like an Arduino or something like that, where you load your firmware on that runs all the digital side of it as well.
I just like the fact that it's what you hear is what you get. You can't save anything. You just grab a knob. You grab one of the knobs and you twist it, and the sounds are the sounds you have. I like that about it.
This is all built on one CNC machine. I think this is why the knobs are wood as well.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's cool. It is cool. I think it might be loosely based on something else that's been floating around the net for the last few years as well.
Well, being as it's open source, that wouldn't surprise me. But it's kind of a cool thing. It's kind of a cool thing.
It's
I like
nice
the
that
fact
it-
it's got
it's
a
nice that
bucket
it
brigade
exists.
delay as well.
Yeah.
I think this will scratch the itch of those people that are into synths, but also into a little bit of DIY and tinkering, and maybe taking this, maybe even buying one and then developing it further. Add a few features here and there, but it has
Actually,
a quality.
go back to the top where we're seeing the front panel again, just there. So it strikes me that because you can select the number of voices, does that mean in poly you could have 2 voices and make it duophonic, or 3 voices and make it
It did say
triphonic?
paraphonic. It's capable of paraphonic. Yeah. So
that's interesting. That's really interesting. Very cool. Very, very,
well, there you go.
very
If
cool.
you're interested, it's called the Daydreamer Synth, and the website is daydreamersynth.com. Nice and easy.
I think it'd be more interesting as not more interesting. That's probably not the right choice of words, but it'd be very interesting as a single Eurorack module.
You said that word.
I know. You can't, mate. You can't deny the Eurorack, mate. I'm sorry.
I deny it every
It's
day.
coming for you. There's nowhere you can hide.
You can run, but you can't.
Yeah.
Well,
Kincaid.
somebody called my picture of my 9 Sonicware Livens as, what are they? The term they use? It really annoys me, this term. I was Eurorack adjacent. And I was doing this hand gesture, which you can't see because I'm not going to put it on the screen.
You're
whatever.
ejaculating.
Yeah. Anyway, Daydreamer Synth, an interesting, cute little concept. And if
love
anybody
that.
wants to build one of their own, you can. And if you do, let us know.
Ken,
I'd hear
if you
it.
want to get do you want to do a splitsy on this? Shall we sort of muster in, so get the bits and then just build it and see what happens? Because I'm not going to build it. Fuck off. But are you? Do you fancy it?
Yeah, we could. I'll have a look at those schematics, and I can probably do a pretty quick assessment of what we're going to need and what have you. But like I said, I think I know the chipsets that are being used.
Okay.
So yeah,
Yeah,
That would just be an interesting thing to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Good stuff. Daydreamersynth.com for the Synth
Yay.
1. Enjoy. Here was another curious addition to our community. This is new from Roland.
And then she had to go back into the restaurant.
I don't remember anyone saying, oh, do you know what we need? Do you know what we really need? We need an electronic hand drum. But here it is. Regardless, it's
in time
new
for Glastonbury.
Yeah, in it. Yeah, this is the Mood Pan electronic hand percussion from Roland, doing what they do best, making things that maybe we just didn't realize we needed, and maybe we don't. But it's an interesting thing. It's I think the biggest draw about these instruments, the acoustic ones anyway, is that because of the way they're tuned, you never hit a wrong note. So basically anybody can pick one of these up and think they're amazing. But this is the digital equivalent. There it is. You have different styles, different tones, and you've got effects on there. It's Bluetooth capable, USB and headphone connectivity. Does it have a built-in speaker? It must have a built-in speaker, I think. There's the pads. Yeah, the built-in speaker on the bottom there. Battery operated if you want as well. It even has a remote control. You too can be a digital hipster with one of these. I don't know. I mean, I'm being facetious. Okay, I admit that. But does this?
I'd love to have one of these because what I do is, because I would put this on the workshop roof and put birdseed in it.
Good call.
And I could come down in the morning and go, yeah, man. I can hear nature.
Nice one. That's really does it swim in the middle?
Yeah.
It's an odd one. I mean, look, I don't mind listening to this kind of stuff. It can, at the appropriate time and place. But I don't know. Is this
so?
I mean, it's like playing a Roomba, isn't it? It's like playing a bloody robot Hoover. It's just weird.
It kind of is.
Things.
Here's the thing. Yeah, you're quite right. Here's the thing. There is a longer video which you can find as well on the site, and it shows you more sounds and different things, different sort of crystal sounding things, including the sort of rubbing, the woo, all that kind of stuff. And synths. So it does synths. It does, some Roland synth sounds and all that kind of stuff. I remember when the Octopad came out and people weren't sure that it would ever do anything very much, and it became a massive, massive hit. The Roland Octopad for playing percussion and stuff. Why do we do that? Why do I do that? Plays percussion and stuff.
just don't do that. Okay.
No, I won't do that. Didn't work. Oh, it did! Hurrah! So, I remember when they brought that out. So. Here's the thing. There are some actually quite good sounds on this. I couldn't see a way of it controlling something else or of recording out from it except via, I don't know, whatever they've got, headphones out or whatever. But there is something about it that is kind of endearing in a way. I could give this to my missus and she would play it because she couldn't get a wrong note. There is something rather good about that, encouraging people to do music. And the sounds coming out of it are quite lovely. And
unlike the acoustic version, you put headphones on.
Yeah. Love, stick your headphones. It's a metal. Oh, right, okay. That's been... But I kind of like I like different ways of different interfaces. I like different ways of playing and engaging.
I'm not mad on the price.
No, the price is £550.
Yeah.
Can you get it in the UK? Because I couldn't see it available over here.
Yeah, that's £550. That's the UK price through Thomann. So, yeah.
But you've
It has
got
MIDI.
aftertouch. You've got aftertouch and
Yeah.
modulation when you press things down.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it does have a bunch of different functions. If there is MIDI with it,
There is.
I think it's kind of a good thing. It's kind, it's another control surface.
I think it makes a
sounds
brilliant MIDI bird feeder, honestly.
MIDI
Well,
bird
it does
feeder.
MIDI over Bluetooth and also MIDI via the USB socket as well. And yeah,
They're
the only
quite-
audio out is the 8th inch jack socket. But
300 quid, it would be like, yeah, I think I'd get that.
Couple of
200,
kilos.
300 quid, 500, 600, no.
Mm.
But it's an interesting thing.
yeah,
It's an interesting thing.
I can think of a much better thing to spend 600 quid on.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I get it.
I don't
That
know.
was a cue, by the way.
I think it's one of those things that if I saw it in a shop, not that we have many music shops left, but if I saw it in a shop, I'd go over to it, I'd play it and go, oh, this is fun. But I wouldn't want to hand over any cash for it. I wouldn't want to take it home with me. If I went round a mate's house and he'd got one in the corner, I'd sit there going, oh, this is fun. And then I'd put it back. It's like somebody else's child. You can play for it for a little while, you can get some enjoyment, and then you give it back. You wouldn't want to take it home with you.
Does it come in
That's
other colours other than white?
No, again, this is the thing. This is something that's very tactile, and it's white. That's gonna get grubby.
Yeah, after I've had Marmite on toast, buttered Marmite and
Exactly.
toasty,
Got
and
the
then
grandkids
that's
over?
going to
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
That's going to work.
Interesting.
You can play it around the campfire with the electro hippies. Yeah, well, there you go.
But I'd say just released just in time for Glastonbury. Talking of Glastonbury, I need to mention this because it didn't confuse me. Before we came on air, Alanis Morissette took the stage, the Pyramid stage, early evening, and I'm massive Alanis Morissette fan. And I sat there watching this, and I don't know, tears just came into my. It was so beautiful to see her.
I did that.
Still rocking it.
I did that, and I thought I was I didn't know why, but
No.
I cried. I thought it was the most brilliant thing.
I mean, and her debut album, Jagged Little Pill, means so much to me. It's such a good album. I just sat here thinking, this is. I'd love to go to Glastonbury, but I never want to go to Glastonbury. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love the whole vibe. I just don't want to be sat in a field with 125,000 other people.
I love
bad
watching it.
Yeah,
I love
and
watching
this is what we'll
Glastonbury.
be doing all weekend. It will be on all
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah.
And that's what again. Another. This is if you don't mind paying the license fee, and I don't mind paying the license fee, this is worth the license fee, as far as I'm
And
concerned.
Alanis was God.
Oh, jeez, she was so good tonight as well.
She was
still,
God.
Yeah,
I loved her in that role.
Brilliant
I just love her. I love her.
but no, I got quite emotional. I sat here, and I got my watery eyes and everything, and it's lovely. Anyway, but
Anyway.
look out! There's going to be some great stuff this weekend at Glastonbury, and make the most of it because it's a fallow year next year, so there won't be anything. So Glaston's going to be pretty damn good. And I do believe is our friend Richard Hilton going to be on stage at some point. I think Chic are playing again, so he'll be worth looking out for. Lots of stuff.
Chick are playing, are they?
Chick. Yeah, Chick-fil-A.
Lovely.
So they'll be on. But there's lots of really good stuff, and of course Gary Newman. Is it tonight or tomorrow night? I can't remember. I can't remember if it's Thursday or Friday Friday or Saturday that he's on.
I can't remember, but I know I've set it for record for him. I love his.
Yeah.
He's got
just got-
better as he's got older. He gets
absolutely.
better and better and better. He's
Yeah.
he's such a good performer. Love it. Really do.
Yeah. So I bought tickets for Newman again. I mean, I've seen him so many times, but it's just so good. So I'll be seeing him again later this year. Looking forward to that. Heaven 17 in 10 days, I think. Yay. Anyway, so that was the Roland Mood Pan. Or is that Mode? Talking of Moog,
Mood
we'll talk about the Messenger in a little while, because we got one. But let's talk about this. I'm not going to even run the video because it's just too long. It's they're at it again. So they threatened this for a while, and now they're delivering it. This is the BM15M Murf box. which is basically a Moog Murf, which was the 105, I think it was. So it's essentially a Moog, and all they've done is they've taken the filter section and put it above the animation section, and they've turned the animation section upside down. That's it. To all intents and purposes, it looks and works just like the original does, but of course it only costs £129. Now, Moog don't make these anymore, so I guess you could say they're fair game. But it does do some really nice things to your sound. If you've ever heard one of these play, go and watch this video. I mean, this guy annoys me, but the video is pretty demonstrative of what it does. And I'm sure that these will sell by the bucket load, because that's not Cuckoo, is it? Is that Cuckoo? That looks like you know who Cuckoo is?
No.
What?
No.
Get out your holes. True Cuckoo on YouTube is YouTube. It looks like him. Really does. Anyway, moving on. This is a wonderful effects pedal, and I'm sure that more of these will emerge, unless In Music decide to turn around and sue their asses. But yes, you can get all the Moog apps. You can get them on iOS. You can get them in Windows and Mac. I've got a few of them, and they are really, really great little boxes. But Behringer at it again, $129. So what's that? It's probably going to be about 99 quid for what is a very useful box. That animation section really does bring things alive. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Any thoughts on this?
No, I have no thoughts on it. I've never been interested in them at all.
No,
sorry.
I have.
Well,
I have
you
some.
talk about
So
it.
the Mooga, the original, I liked the sound. I wasn't quite sure what its purpose was until I played with one in the studio one day, and I just thought, well, this is it's a bit spesh, and it does add a certain character to sounds that's really rather brilliant. If you're stuck for an idea, throw a Mooga on it, and you end up with all sorts of this. The one thing I think it needs, if we go back up to the main box again,
so I'm just obsessed with Cuckoo. I don't think it is, but so yeah.
I'll
Nobody
tell
else
him,
does either.
You'll have the cease and desist order. So at the top there, those filters, those are resonant filters. I think they come from the Polymoog, as far as I remember. I always felt that there was a lost opportunity with this to add a feedback circuit so that you could actually start getting some increasing the resonance and hyphenating the resonance, as it were, in those filters, because they sound amazing. So that was my one thought about it. As for this, being a Behringer, look, it's cheap, it's affordable. People will go out and buy it. If In Music sue them, then we'll look forward to that spat. I still think them doing this with products that are so near to having, when did this go out of production? Was it 2018 or something?
It was a few years ago, yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, you could say it's fair game, but it's now owned by, but that's for them to sort out.
Interesting.
It's
we spoke. While we're on the subject of people suing, that I think we spoke about the Centaur, the Klon Centaur pedal, which Behringer did a clone of, and the guy behind the original Klon pedals sued. And just last week, Behringer updated the design to basically addressing all of the points that were being made. So they've put their logo on it now. So it clearly says Behringer. They've changed the design of the Centaur image. They've stopped calling it the Centaur, and they're calling it Centauro or something like that, something close but similar. So the guys threatened them, and they've backed down. So it just goes to show that if you have a case and you wanted to take it up with them, you might be successful. But anyway, sorry, Andrew, carry on.
No, I think actually that I was kind of going a similar way, and I think you just covered it there. It's not, but in the meantime, it is available. It's one of those boxes that if you know, and you go, oh blimey, that's good. And at the price they're putting, I can't remember what the price is now,
$129 US for this.
There we go. And it's well built. So,
Well, it's,
if you'll like it, it's not going to be that popular unless maybe, I mean, it works best with polyphonic instruments, so chordally and that kind of stuff. It works really well with that, but it could be used as a Eurorack, part of a Eurorack setup. Or
I wouldn't be surprised if they bring a Eurorack version of this out.
Yeah, it's good. The thing is, this is a great idea, and having got it this far, to just copy it and then not to add a whole bunch of other functionality seems like a cop-out. It seems like, so you're admitting that Moog got it right the first time round, and you've done bugger all apart from swapping.
To be fair, why Moog stopped doing these things is beyond me, because they were incredibly popular. So I don't know what was behind that, whether it was a business decision, and given the fact that it was old Moog, could well have been, or whether it was a component-based decision, who knows. They should have kept on producing these because people loved them. And I think the take-up on the software versions should have demonstrated that.
And now there's a new version out there, and Moog have lost that. But it's a different Moog now, so we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah,
I'm glad it's in.
I can see why Behringer have made this.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. The reason there's nothing else in it, Behringer are not known for actually doing anything of their own. What have they made that's actually their own design?
No, but they have taken other designs. They have taken other designs and added additional stuff to some of them.
Yeah, but even the things they've added are designs from other things. They haven't made any. The only thing they made that was original was that plugin. Oh God, that plugin!
Oh, don't talk about that plugin.
Right. So, but the important thing is, Moog had a lucrative market with these and went, sod it. Right? Behringer come along and go, well, we'll make it affordable for practically anybody. Off you go.
People are pointing out that the Neutron and the Proton were supposedly original, but I've seen people.
I've seen inside one. They're not.
Yeah, they're not that. And the DeepMind is essentially a Juno, and
they've
made that absolutely clear with the new paint job.
Yeah, well, even
so that's not original.
Analog Renaissance's circuits for the VCAs.
Yeah,
they didn't change anything. Yeah. So, but that's fine, because at the end of the day, Behringer are making stuff and people are buying it.
Yeah.
Therefore, they can't be. All right. You can get into the nitty gritty about copyright and blah 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 and all the rest of it, but that's gone on since year dot. Mm-hmm. With ARP, Moog, and it's always happened. And no, I must
quite
admit,
so blatantly, but yes, you're right.
Well,
it has always
the thing is that the reason it looks blatant is because it's a good selling point. It makes sense to make that try to make that look like the original.
Do you know it does, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's common selling sense. Yeah. I get it.
P.S. Don't be fooled by those wood end cheeks. They are not wood.
Anyway. Imagine though, if you took this,
I will be starting a service where I'll be making real wooden end cheeks for them.
Real wooden end cheeks for them.
Yeah.
But imagine if you took this box, put in an envelope follower, and put in a feedback circuit to the resonant filters. Imagine that. This would be an entirely different boxy thing, and it would be a wonderful thing. Even more so than it is, and it's a wonderful thing as it stands.
Have Behringer ever made the Moog 12-stage phaser?
I don't think they have.
I wish somebody would. But I mean, to sound like the original 70s 12-stage phaser. Yeah. I know there has been 12-stage phasers since, but they don't sound like that one. And Moog have never gone back to that one either.
No.
So, and that was in everyone's keyboard rig, wasn't it? Through the 70s, going into the 80s, everyone had one.
Tomita wouldn't have bloody existed if he didn't have one.
Yeah.
Anyway, as always, whenever Behringer are featured on the show, we end up going down this path. So let's just stop, because we've been here before, we've done it, we've said it 1,000 times.
Well, just
this is an interesting unit.
Yeah, I don't think it. I don't think we're. We don't always like their business practices, but they have made this available to an audience that otherwise wouldn't see it. And as someone else has said here in the chat, Tanith has said, I can only start with modular because of Behringer.
Yeah,
and they've done that. They've made this kind of thing. They've made electronic music accessible to a whole range of people, to a whole number of people who wouldn't have done it otherwise. So that's a good thing.
I suppose in any other, you know, industry, that would be praised
Yeah,
in a way, wouldn't it?
Indeed.
yeah.
Indeed.
Making cheap cars.
I must
rather
admit,
than expensive
I am
ones.
over the whole, that whole Behringer thing. I'm over it now, anyway.
Good.
Nothing
But
changes.
I got a Behringer mixer here. I got that X32. I don't think I mean, how much was the Midas one?
Oh, I can't remember. It was a lot.
I think it was probably outside my price range as well.
Mm.
But it's essentially the same thing.
Up to a point.
Badges.
Yeah, the I think there's difference in parts, but there's got to be some way if they've got to be able to make it cheaper. So some of the quality, some of the bits are not as top notch as the Midas one.
It's not as roadworthy as the Midas, and
Yeah, but she's not
possibly
going on the
Midas
road anyway, so
and
it's
things, but-
fucking ideal because
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been able to afford an original Midas one.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. You know, makes
Anyway,
good
let's
business
move on.
sense. Yeah.
Let's move on. Let's actually move on to something that is Moog, because let's just bring this in. There we go. Look at that. We've got one here in the studio. Look, here's my hand coming into play.
Oh.
And you know what I didn't do?
Yes.
Oh,
Let me do that
switch
again.
off.
Now turn it
yeah,
off
switch
and
it off.
leave it off, boy. Oh, there we go.
Now, I will admit that I do have that going through a little bit of reverb. Do it again without the reverb if you like. There you go. Still sounds bloody good. There is the Moog Messenger in all of its glory. It arrived yesterday, and we did a special feature yesterday on the channel. If you missed it, you can always go back and watch it. I was on for about 90 minutes, and we just unboxed it, had a little play with it, little tour of the thing, played a few sounds,
Updated the firmoware on it.
updated
live.
the firmware because we
That took
needed
no
to do
time
that.
at all.
Indeed, yeah, it was seconds. It was very, very quick. But the general consensus, as far as I'm concerned, is it is a lovely little synth. I played with one at Super Booth, but you know, it's not the best environment to sort of gauge an instrument because you're wearing headphones. You've got lots of noise around you. There's people, you know, sort of all jockeying for position. Now I've had it on my desk on my own, just playing around with it. I'm getting one. It's as simple as that. I've actually already asked that if I don't have to send this back, can I just send them a check and I'll keep this one here. So yeah, we like it. It's a lovely sounding Moog mono synth, which is all it's ever claiming to be, and it's built really well. Sounds great. I don't know, guys. What did you think? I mean, I know you were watching last night. Your initial thoughts on the Messenger?
Sounds very moogy, which is a good thing.
Well, it is, yeah.
So I would have liked to have had a bigger keyboard, but I think that's me because I'm old.
Well, you can just MIDI it up, but
Yeah, well, this is it, I suppose. Yeah, so I suppose it doesn't really matter. But
I
it
just think
definitely
for
has
its
that. It has the Moog pedigree
yeah.
when I was hearing it, and yeah, I like it because you know, somebody asked me actually. They said, "Oh, would you? Are you going to compare it with a real Mini?" I go, well, "No, in exactly the same way I wouldn't compare a multi Moog with a real Mini.
No.
It's like chalk and cheese." And this is from that era, you know, the multi Moog, you know, and the Source, and you know, where they had this other version of Moog, and this is the other version of Moog.
Yeah.
And it's lovely. I really like this,
Yeah.
and the price is incredibly good considering it's
Yeah.
a Moog.
So I know the. Just want to make sure that the UK price is what I've got here. UK price, yeah, $699 UK. I think it's $849 US.
I think there was one place that was offering it for $659.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, there's going to be people that are going to.
Yeah, but I'd never heard of that shop before.
Yeah. But it's a really, really lovely thing. And there was this, this big hoo-ha about it being, made in China. Well, hello. Have a look on the boxes of
Really?
any recent
Yeah.
Moog synthesizer, any synthesizer. It's all, as I said on the show last night, you can have something built in the UK or the US and it'll be absolutely rubbish. If it's just cheap build quality, it's cheap build quality, whether it's in the UK or the US or China. Similarly, you can have very, very high quality products made in China. And this is one of those things. Of course, time will tell. This is literally a month or two old in terms of it going out into the public. So we'll see how long those knobs last and those buttons work and what have you. But from actually hands-on, the keyboard is lovely. The switches are nice. The knobs, as I said last night, they're a little looser than you would have sort of expected on a Moog synth, but they're not awful. They're not sort of wishy-washy. There's a mild amount of resistance, maybe not as much as you'd experience on something a little bit more expensive, but a price point was being clearly aimed at with this thing. And as a company that was literally on its knees, Moog need to sell stuff. And a 699 quid mono synth that sounds and looks and works just like a Moog synth, that's what's going to, this is a Moog for the masses.
Yeah, I think it's a company saver.
Yeah, definitely. This will
Absolutely.
sell by
Yeah.
the bucket load.
Yeah.
I'm seeing more and more videos of people on YouTube with them, doing stuff with them, and really. The only thing that like I said, I've been putting it through effects, and I know Steve in the chat, Steve Sonus Lucius. I'm not sure if this will stretch all the way around, but essentially I'm using one of those Zoom MS70 CDR pluses. The Zoom pedal. Let me just. This might pop. Then again, it might not.
No,
One of
not too
those. They're about 120 quid on Amazon at the moment. They're absolutely brilliant. There's 140 odd different effects on there. You can power it via USB or battery or mains. It's brilliant. There's so much going on there, and I just feed anything through that just to give it a little bit of life. So there you go. Yeah, the Pro Moog, very good. Yeah, Andrew, thoughts?
Do you know, I'm still oddly conflicted by this one. It's not a mini Moog.
No.
And having heard Kent's, that's what I want. That's what I want. I think this is a good instrument, and I think the price is ridiculously good. I need to have it. I think I need to get one in front of me to be convinced to get it. I think you're right, probably about it not having effects, but I don't care about that with a mini Moog. With this, I might do, but it sounds good. There was some. I'm not sure if it was just the stream last night, but there was some noise on the wave shaping for some of them. There's some really odd noise in there, some sort of anti-aliasing or something going on.
More than
But
the
on the
stream
whole,
light,
it sounds like a Moog. It sounds
Yeah.
like a Moog. I love the fact it's got aftertouch. I love the filter on it, and I love the. I really love the filter compensation button. I think
the
that's just
bass resonance button. Yeah.
bass resonance button. That is just love that. So, not a lot to complain about with that one. Not a lot at all, and it is going to open it up for the masses. I hope it sells
Yeah.
gazillions, because Moog need a hit, and I hope they have it, because they've
Yeah.
been doing a lot of really good stuff.
I mean, as I said before, I think this could be. I mean, when I say the new the new micro Korg, I don't mean that in terms of feature set. I just mean you're going to see this synth everywhere because it's small, it's compact, it sounds great, and it's affordable. You're literally going to see this everywhere. I think there's going to be a lot of people buying their very first analog mono synth, and that'll be this one. Is Moog only allowed to make variations of the Mini Moog and the Mini Moog sound? No, of course not. Of course not.
No, because this doesn't have 3 oscillators. So
This
no,
is a 3 oscillator.
and it's not just, as Kent says, it's not just the mini Moog. And in music now own everything Moog, everything. So they can do what the bling hell they like with it. Someone else probes. Does it do anything groundbreaking apart from the price point? If you like the Moog sound, and if you've not got a Moog, yes, that's exactly it. It does that. It gives you that sound and memories for up to 700 quid. That's pretty price break. Yeah, that's pretty astonishing. It does have some nice features. The arpeggiators on it are quite good as well.
Yeah. Through Zero FM.
Yeah, through Zero FM, of course. So there's nothing on here that's not been done by other people, but no one's done it that's Moog, and no one's done it with this sound.
There's a great little demo video that I took a quick look at yesterday before I did the show about the FM thing, because obviously I'm interested in that. And it's only like a 5.5 minute video, and he comes up with this really nice, and it does sound digital in that kind of that punch at the beginning of the attack portion of the sound. It sounds like a DX, that real immediate thing, but then it has that body which is clearly analog. It sounds, and the guy just dialed that in within a few minutes. It's a really nice.
I'm getting so much shit in the chat. That is brilliant. It's all brilliant, and you're all right. I did want a custom sit up and beg version of this first, and then why does Ken, you beauty? Well, though, why does Andrew say that? Well, the thing
Why
is,
does he say anything?
Yeah, and I guess you're right. I don't want to pay mini Moog prices for a mini Moog. No, listen, I will. If I had the money, I would pay mini Moog prices for a mini Moog. I just don't have that money at the moment. So I just want a mini Moog because in fact, I don't just want a mini Moog. I want a Kent mini Moog.
Yeah, but that's what makes them so expensive.
Yeah, it is. But having, that's what I want. That's what I want.
At the end of the day, let's say you're getting a Moog mono synth for 699 quid. It sounds great. It looks good. It works really nicely. The fact it doesn't have a screen means you are completely invested in what is a traditionally good user interface. You won't feel lost in there at all. It's very easy to get home with it. There are one or two features where you have to kind of like hold one button and press something to change something else, but there's not a lot of that going on. And there's a full comprehensive manual, not printed one, but electronic one. You can stuff things through the filter externally, so you can plug something in and put that through all four of those different filters that are on there: 2-pole, 4-pole, bandpass, and high pass. So you can use that as well. So that's cool. It's got MIDI, it's got CV, it's got USB. So who knows? There might be a patch editor in the offing somewhere, librarian. That would be nice. But yeah, 256 sounds. Yeah, mod anything per step. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree with it. What else is going through the chat about it having no screen? I agree. I like that.
Just focuses you. It just
See, I
concentrate on the
don't care
controls.
about it not having a screen. I don't care about it not having a screen. I really don't give a shit. It's that's part of the appeal of the mini Moog. And the fact that I played one when I was a very small little chat. Well, I was 16.
Before electricity was invented.
When it was a steam Moog. Yes. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to get one in front of me. I've got to get one of these in front of me. The Messenger.
I didn't have any analog synthesizers up until a few years ago. In fact, my first proper analog keyboard synthesizer was a Behringer MS-101, which I still have.
Really?
There. Yeah, that was my first proper analog synthesizer. I'd got the only other analog thing I'd got in my collection was a Mattel Synsonics drum. That's all I had. So, and since then, I've obviously gone out a bit and bought a few. And this one here that you can see just above my finger, the Matrix Brute, is just amazing. But it's £1,500 to £2,000 of amazing. This is $699, and this is I can find a place for this alongside the Matrix Brute. It does something that's different that the Matrix Brute doesn't do. So yeah, I think this is going to be very popular.
I like the way Nick Howes in the chat is saying about his Jupiter 8 doesn't have a screen and his Geno 60 doesn't have a screen.
Yeah.
So if I borrow those
Thanks, Nick.
But it's
Thanks for donating those.
We do
only
get
4
sometimes
screws, just pull 'em out.
distracted by having a big. So in some cases, it's absolutely essential. You need it, but I think on a synthesizer that is essentially as simple as the Messenger, you don't need it. And
That's one
really
of its. That's its strength. It's just what you see is what you get, kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's a brilliant strength to it.
It would have been nice. Again, they had to hit a price point. It would have been nice to have some sort of LED indicators on the knobs.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Because it's one of those things where you can there is a button that you can switch between the preset that you've got chosen or the panel settings. So very much like on the Juno 106, there's the panel button. You just hit the panel button and it goes to whatever the panel settings are. But it does that thing if you turn a knob. So if you called up a preset and your filter knob is all the way round, open. You select the preset, then the filter internally goes to whatever that preset setting was, and it's only when you turn the preset knob and you get to the point where
you go past the null point,
and then it picks it up and it latches it, and then you go from there, and then you can. So there is that little bit where maybe you've dialed up a preset and your knob is not. Sounds really weird. Your knob is not in the right place, and you have to drag it back, and you're never quite sure where it might be. So it would have been nice to see a visual indicator, so you're not sort of clutching at straws. But anyway, again, price point.
Yeah, that would put a few quid on it.
Exactly. Exactly. So I'm not complaining.
Would you pay more for this? So you said 700 quid. You might be able to get a deal on it, but it's 700 quid. Would you pay more for it to have maybe a bucket brigade and or a delay? Would you pay an extra 120 quid for it?
Possibly.
100, an extra 100 quid for the Messenger?
Possibly.
No, I've always liked the fact that the smaller Moogs didn't have built-in effects.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
me
like
too,
that.
actually.
I mean, it's not like
changing my
I've got
mind
effects that I can put the thing through, so it's not like I need it with it. It just would have been nice to have, even as I said last night, it would have been nice to have a version of that diffusion delay that they put on the Muse, because that's a really nice effect.
I'm so over the diffusion delay.
But it's nice, and it works.
I always want to tune it down, stop it going up an octave and 2 octaves. It's just do something. But anyway, that's a whole other conversation.
Anyway, Moog Messenger. Look, I've got this hopefully for at least a couple of months before I have to send it back. But as I said, I've contacted them. I don't know if they replied to me yet, but I said, look, at the end of that, I'm going to buy one. Look, there's one here. Can I have this one? And I'll pay you. So we'll
when
see.
Kent has his get together, perhaps you can bring it down. And
Yeah,
we
maybe.
can have a look. That would be really good.
If I've still got it, absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Cool beans. Okay, so we're killing lots of time here, but there is something else that we need to talk about now. I'm going to just play a couple of minutes of this video. It's just the opening 2 minutes because I love the guy and I love the instrument, and everybody should go and listen to this because he is such a legend. This is Katsunori-san and his little demo of the new Montage M 3.0. Where is it? There we go. there he is. The guy is an absolute legend. If you haven't watched his channel, go and watch his channel. Subtitles are provided. He's just so cool. But this is, of course, and let me just take that out of the way. This is the Montage M OS version 3.0. I'm assuming neither of you, I'm just going to assume this, but tell me if I'm wrong, and please do, that neither of you have installed it yet. So that's a no.
I've bought these two. I'm going to do it over the weekend.
Have
I
you
lost
done
some
your
the last
homework,
time.
Longhurst? No, the
Yeah.
dog ate it.
Yeah. No, I haven't installed it yet. Sorry,
Shocking.
miss. Sorry, miss. I'll go and stand outside your study.
Listen, this is a big update. There's new sounds, new waveforms, new features. There's this GS1 ensemble chorus, which I love. I love the old Yamaha ensemble, which I've got on the CE25 that's built into that. It's also in the Rev 5 and the Rev 7, I believe, and also in the SPX that I've got over there. It's a classic.
SPX
Absolute
900,
classic.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a brilliant thing, and you heard a little bit of that GS piano that you're playing there. It's got the CS ring modulator.
The proper CS ring modulator. That's
Well,
a
I was going to go to our
gorgeous
expert to
sounding
say
thing.
how good is it, but I'm assuming you haven't installed it. So we'll come back.
There's an
to that one.
update.
There is an update.
Oh, okay. No, I knew about it. I
yeah,
haven't done it yet. No.
Lots of great things. We could spend a lot of time going through all the additions. So now we've got ESP MIDI Learn in there as well, and of course you've got the song and pattern imports. And yeah,
The
it's just
funny
loads of
thing is, I've
workflow
not
updates.
seen the ESP, the update for the ESP. So ESP is not version 3 yet. So I
No,
don't know whether the current one will.
should
I'm
do.
not quite sure what the story is with that.
I'm not entirely sure if the version numbers of these marry up at all. Now all these features are added in ESP 3.0. There you go. Look at that, just there.
Yeah, but I've not seen an ESP 3.0 anywhere. You can't. It's not a downloadable thing yet, which is a shame.
We'll check that out.
Yeah, I've had a look, but or at least it wasn't yesterday. Who knows?
We'll have a look. But anyway, look, we all know, and we all got very excited. In fact, I got so excited, I managed to persuade these two guys to go out and buy one, and I didn't get one myself.
Yeah,
I
Well,
don't
we
feel
were expecting
bad
Yamaha
at
to
all.
give you one.
that was an
Fat
£8
chance.
grand show. That was. Do you
That
remember?
was a very expensive
That was
show.
£8,000 show.
Mate,
mean-
I'm still paying for it.
I know. I love it. I think it's an incredible instrument. It really,
it
really
is.
is. It's like all you could ever possibly want, really, in one very large, very expensive box. But it is a lovely, lovely thing. And I think maybe if I move house and get a bigger room, get one, because I couldn't fit one in here as
Well,
a
it's the only
stand.
other keyboard in here that can actually generate its own gravitational field,
Yeah,
Yeah. Apart from the CS.
apart from the CS.
exactly. Yeah, they're sort of keeping the room in balance. If you took one out,
The house would
gets
tip
sucked.
over.
Exactly. Yeah, it would all go
Hent
out
is
of whack.
actually at the Lagrange
Yeah.
point. If he moves either side a little bit,
That's it. But they've just made what was an incredibly good synthesizer better, so much better. And of course, it's a free of charge update. What is the update process? Because I mean, you held up to 128 gigabyte USB memory sticks.
so the reason I've done that is just simply because I was a donk the last time. You remember I updated it and I lost a bunch of presets I'd already created. So I've been recreating those and coming out with a whole bunch of others. So this time around, because I used one single USB key,
Right.
and I was transferring it to and from. So this time I've just decided to back up, check that that's okay, back up again, also transfer it into ESP, then put the update in here before I update this, and that way I should have everything that I need. But hopefully that all works well and goes smoothly, but we'll see. So I'll do it tomorrow probably.
Slight diversion here. Paul Holmes has just put on a Lars Morissette glass, and now he's crying too. What is it about that performance?
What is
that
it
was making
about that
grown
opening
men
number?
cry? I just love it. I'm gonna watch it again tonight. Yeah.
Do you know? I think it was partly it was the response of the crowd to her
Yeah,
as well. You
there is
saw
that
her
too.
come on, and you saw the love and
also
it was just astonishing.
for me anyway, that was the first thing I've seen from Glastonbury today. So maybe there's just that kind of euphoria of it's Glastonbury again. Anyway, the update process on the montage is a lengthy thing, isn't it? It takes a long time. I've seen some people talking about like hours.
It can do. I think part of that is about the speed of the key you have,
Gotcha.
and you've got to format the key so it's there. So some USB keys don't format well. That's another problem. They don't. They have all sorts of hidden stuff on them when you put them in. So I bought these specifically to, first of all, to format them, then to do the transfer. I don't think it's the fastest transfer, but I haven't tried doing it over ESP, so we'll see. I'm going to try both ways of doing it tomorrow, and then we'll see where we get to.
Okay. It won't be as quick as the firmware update on the Messenger last night.
No, I was thinking exactly.
It was just like done.
Point done. Who?
Yeah, no. It's,
But I think there's something like 7 gigs worth of samples that get downloaded with the update.
there is a lot in there, isn't there? Yeah.
It's a big update. It's a
Yeah,
big
required
package.
items: one USB flash drive of over 8 gig, formatted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of stuff, but it is an incredibly powerful.
Well,
instrument.
hopefully my one turns up tomorrow morning.
Your what? USB.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I crossed my fingers and everything else, and hope that was good. That it all goes well.
Voicing
It
the
does say
ANX1, AM1X was a true joy. AM1X,
all
not the
user
ANX,
memory-
Nick.
All user memory will be initialized by this update. Please make sure that you have saved all user data. So it's a full-on process. So
Yeah,
it's almost
Well,
like
there's a lot
just
in there. I
updating your
love that.
computer's OS, isn't it?
I love that new piano, electric piano sound, piano. That was gorgeous. That was a very nice sound indeed. So yeah,
I think your mate's calling you.
Is that Noah?
Yeah.
Oh, bless him.
He's probably been annoyed by Lily.
Ruby
It's
Raps.
understandable.
Yeah, but
It's
he likes to put his entire head in her mouth.
It's small.
It's not very hard for him to do.
Anyway, Yamaha Montage M OS Update 3.0 available now. Make sure you back everything up and do it twice just in case. But enjoy all the new lovely features.
Yeah, I want to put the ring mod through its paces.
Yes,
Yeah.
interesting. And you can do literally a side by side.
Yeah.
There we go. Right, let's talk about some free stuff that you can get over at our Patreon channel, because I was delighted to receive another sound bank from our friend Jer Hughes, who you remember did a brilliant Synthspirations a few weeks ago.
Yeah, he did.
Under his brand name of Custom Sonics, he has given us, for our Patreon members and our YouTube channel members, a decent sampler instrument called Just Kick Drums. And guess what, folks? It's just kick drums. That's all it is. Just kick drums. But it's a load of really nice sounding kick drums, from acoustic kicks to electronic kicks and all sorts of things. You can mess around with the tone, the reverb and the release on this. He even designed a funky little UI with a fake little 3.5-inch floppy disk drive there. It looks rather cute. But it is completely free of charge. So if you go to your Patreon page, it's there. You just download it from there as well. You go and download the Decent Sampler plugin from Decent Sampler itself. If you are a YouTube channel member, go to the Community Posts tab on the YouTube channel. And if you're a member, you will see the note that gives you the link to download everything. So please fill your boots with that one. And if you haven't joined either of those platforms, do so, and you get this and so much more besides. But this is a really nice thing. So thank you, Jer. Thank you so much. You've been very generous to us so far. And we really appreciate it. So go and fill your boots with that and everything else that you can find over at the Patreon page, which if I just call this up here it is. You can see there we've got the Custom Sonics kick drums. We've got Synthspirations from Viral Beats. That was really cool. That was last week. We've got the sounds for the ODC 2800 compiled by Mr. Longhurst and, of course, our friend James Dyson.
James.
We've got also from Viral Beats 140 free presets for the Arturia Mini Freak. If you join either Patreon or YouTube channel members, go to that post, you'll find a code that you can enter in at the checkout, and you can get your discount off those. And there's some really cracking patches in there. So thank you to all of those people, to Viral Beats, to Jer, to Andrew, of course, and to James Dyson, Mark Barnes, and everyone else that's donated material to give away to you guys. We love it. So thank you very much indeed. Right, so let's see. This was a last minute job that came in. I'm just trying to see if there is a video. We might as well just play it from the screen, mightn't we? This is brand new from Korg, of all people. This is the Korg Gadget for PlayStation. Is it going to play? There we go. And there it is. That is the Korg PlayStation, Korg Gadget for PlayStation. Sorry, I just got my buttons in the mix, muddle there. So I instantly got Music 2000 vibes. I don't know if anybody's old enough to remember Music 2000 on the original PlayStation. I know that didn't Korg do a virtual, like a VR version of this?
Exactly that. They have already done a VR version of this, and I was just wondering whether or not if you're wearing a VR headset and or gloves for the PS, whether or not you can control them and play them. And I think Ken was saying that. I wonder if you can plug a MIDI keyboard into the USB. I don't know, but it would be good if you could. I would imagine that would be a good thing to do.
Does it not say anywhere?
This is what I'm now looking for. For some reason, I can't get rid of that.
Because I was worried that they didn't show anybody using a VR headset with it at any point.
I was kind of hoping that they might, because
I've got to post this.
I mean, I don't know how intuitive it is to use any of these instruments using a PlayStation controller. But at least it's more than the music by numbers that was things like Music 2000, where you just picked loops and stuff. You can actually play these things, but it would be interesting to know if you can plug controllers in. I'm just having a look here. Korg Gadget, blah 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 blah. Starting with the iOS versions, expanded to support Mac, plug-in formats, Nintendo Switch, and VR. Now enters support with PlayStation 5. Uses Unreal. Gadgets are arranged in a fully immersive 360-degree environment, but it doesn't say anything.
So sorry, you said it uses Unreal?
Uses the Unreal Engine, yeah.
So I could probably run this up on Unreal rather than having to go through the PlayStation, which means I could do it on here, which means I could have all the controllers working. I've got my VR headset here, so I might just try that.
You never know.
How much is it?
$39.99 UK price.
Okay.
From the PlayStation Store. I don't think I'll be rushing out to buy this.
39.
Let's see if they've got a
$39.99.
Is this a thing where there'll be various instruments that you can use, but you've got to buy them to use within your?
No, it's an entire suite.
This is the entire suite.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No mention of VR support on the PlayStation 5, which is a shame. That I would have probably bought it if it had that, just for the fun, element of it. But yeah, it's. I remember Dom, bless him, when the latest version of the Unreal Engine came out. Wasn't he doing stuff in that and saying how incredible it was for musical applications and sound applications?
Yeah.
So it's clearly why.
I'd like a version of this where you can use other people's studios.
Yeah, just pick a studio. Oh, today I'm going to work.
I use Hans' studio today.
Yeah, there's just not big enough for that, is it? But no, this is an interesting thing. And look, if it gets people into making music that would normally.
And Korg are pushing. This is a trend that they've been. This is a technology trail they've been on for a while. And I know we showed off the Unreal version of this yonks ago. I mean, last year sometime, probably about this time last year. But get out of my studio again.
Go make me a sandwich.
But I never actually got around to loading it up into Unreal. I think it was an Unreal thing. I'm going to have to go on the website and find out what they're doing with that, because I think I may have a chat with Korg and say, oi.
But Korg have got a long history of doing things with game consoles, because I've got a DS10 cartridge, which is the M1 synth on a what was their handheld 3DS. That's it. I only bought it because my kids have got a 3DS. I didn't have a 3DS. But you can do that. And there was also an MS10. Sorry, there was an MS10 and an M1. I can't remember. I think I had the DS10, which is the MS10. Yeah. 3DS. So you just slot the cartridge in, and then you've got virtual wires that you can move with your stylus. They also did an M1 version, or an M1 instrument that you can put. So they've got a history of being fun with games consoles. Does
it have longevity? These things
for me, no.
Did they really have longevity?
No, it was like the Roland thing. I'd play with it for 10-15 minutes and then put it down again. I would never do anything creative with it.
That's what I fear I would do with this.
Yeah, it's just too frustrating. Yeah. And at the end of the day, if I want to play with synthesizers and instruments, hello. But if my kid wants to do a little bit, then this might be up there for them.
A way to stop them ever getting involved and wasting all their money on electronic instruments. Give them one of these and they'll never go near them again. There we go.
Hey, but this thing keeps me warm in the winter, mate.
That's it. If you are interested and you have a PlayStation 5, it's available now. Just go to the PlayStation Store. It's $39.99 UK. I don't know what it is around the rest of the world, but there it is. Korg Gadget for PlayStation 5. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk it? I think that was probably the last thing we had on our list. It was, in fact, the last thing we had on the list. So let me just remind you.
You're not doing the Super Paint CS80 then?
Oh, no. Well, have you played with it?
No. I'm going to try it over the weekend and see.
Okay. Well, let's do it next week then.
Okay then.
Let's do it next week. I have to say.
You're not sending me one. I have to buy it.
Well, I have to say that, given that you've got a real CS80, given that I've got the plug-in CS80, well, I've got two plugins. Actually, no, probably got three plug-in CS80s, two of which are incredibly good.
Yeah.
When somebody comes along with a sample-based CS80, I'm just like, do I really want to?
I don't know. It depends on if it fills the gaps. See, the thing is, somebody, I can't remember who asked me now, but somebody said, well, why don't you get all of the CS80 plugins and do a video comparing them to each other and how they compare up against the real girl? And I said, because I don't want viewers slashing their wrists open after 35 minutes. Daddy, make it stop.
Make it stop. Yeah. You know? We have had, and I mean, it is like, every now and again, people, I think people said when Cherry Audio brought out their Odyssey, another Odyssey, but there are some that just do so much more than just that.
Yeah, well, you will find different plugins that sort of like excel in areas.
Yeah.
So,
but listen,
and it's finding out which ones excel in what areas.
Yeah,
have
a go with it. and
I'll give
let
it a
us
crack.
know.
See how it does. Yeah.
We'll talk about it next week. Remind me, because I will forget.
Okay. No problem.
But yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah,
about
but I
that
probably
next
will
week.
forget as well. So perhaps
We'll
tattoo it on my
forget to
arm.
remind each other.
Yeah.
What will you
Andy,
forget?
remind both of us. Yeah. What? I
What?
don't know.
Well,
No,
we'll forget.
I have
Well,
no
let's
idea what
get
we're
what's
talking
his name to remember for us.
Who's
What's
that?
his name? Yeah.
Him.
Who?
Thingy.
You know, thingy next to you.
The one.
Matey.
Oh, him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
his name?
I don't know. Didn't he used to work for him?
Jeff.
He worked for who? I think he worked for, was it Timu or something like that?
Yeah, or was it
It's
Rod
something-
Hull?
Rod Hull.
Rod-
Yeah, he worked for Rod Hull.
It was Rod Hull. Rod
Yeah.
Hull.
Yeah.
I did a
25
season at
years with his
Blackpool.
hand up
Don't
his
ever
arse.
get him to fix your TV, Ariel. Just to remind everyone, we didn't have a Synthspirations this week because nobody sent one in,
Yes,
which is very remiss. If you
Lazy
don't know
bastards.
what Synthspiration, I know. If you don't know what Synthspirations is, this is what it is. We want to know what music inspired you to make music with synthesizers. Be it an album, single, or an entire artist's body of work, we want you to tell us why it inspired you, and given that we're a synth show, which instruments used on that album really made an impact. All you need to do is film yourself talking about your synthspiration for a few minutes, and we'll feature it on the show and discuss it. Send your video clips along with your name or handle to prosynthnetwork@gmail.com using a file sharing service like WeTransfer, and you could feature on a ProSynth Network live show soon. It's true, you can. All you got to do is just record yourself to camera. It doesn't have to be anything special or professional, but we love those ones that come up with some really cool ways of going through what their inspirations were. It doesn't have to be like it doesn't have to be a whole bunch of stuff. It can just be a handful, maybe 3 or 4. Maybe there's just one thing that really tipped you over the edge and has just inspired you ever since. Tell us what it is. Show us the record, show us the CD or the cassette. Tell us who it was, tell us why it did it for you, and we will feature that on the show. All you got to do is film yourself doing it. Not everyone appears on camera. You don't have to appear on camera either, so if you're a little bit shy, that's fine. It's not a problem. Send it in. Send the video recording in to prosynthnetwork@gmail.com, or you can actually use rob@prosynthnetwork.com now as well. So either of those, send it to me, preferably as a link to a file transfer service, because a lot of these videos tend to be quite large, won't go in an email. So send me the link. Use WeTransfer. That is what seems to be the preferred format of choice. And I'll download it. If you need me to top and tail it, I'll do that as well. And then we'll stick it on the show and we'll learn. And seriously, the amount of these things that we show on here, and I'm sitting, I've never listened to that. And I start writing this stuff down. And then I go, during the weekend, I'll go onto my Apple Music and start, like saving these things and having a listen in the car. And you get to really broaden your musical knowledge and your ear as well, so it's very cool. So please, thank you to everyone that's already sent those in. If you want to watch them and you want to watch them in isolation, you don't have to sort of wade through all the videos, become a Patreon or a YouTube channel member, and we snip them all out and we put them into a playlist, and you can just easily go and find any one of those. So please do some of those and send those in. So that
Have you seen Nick's question? I don't know if we want to talk about that now or next week, maybe.
I did. We don't really have enough time to do it justice this week, I don't think. But I mean, it is a good point.
It is.
So, Soliste, from Expressive E came out. We spoke about it last week. I got it, and I think it's amazing. It's really, really good. However, it says it's compatible or it's usable with any MPE controller. The only MPE controller I have is the Polybrute 12, and I was having trouble getting it to thinking this wasn't quite how it was supposed to sound. So I've been speaking to the guys at Expressive E, and I might get a loan unit of an Osmos just to see how that works. It's been something I've been thinking about buying anyway, so who knows. But the question I posited in one of my articles on Gear News this week was, are we now reaching that point where physical modelled strings, so say physical modelled orchestral instruments, are at a point now in terms of price, performance and capability where sample libraries might be getting a bit nervous I don't think we're quite there yet, but I certainly
No.
think we are edging closer, because when I listen to what you can do with Soliste as solo instruments, solo cello, bass, double bass, viola and violin, they are incredibly good. And tie them up with an MPE controller where you've got that level of expression, does start to make a lot of sense.
But there's an awful lot of people that don't have MPE controllers.
Exactly,
So
yeah,
for that
yeah.
reason, the string libraries, sample-based string libraries, are probably not gone away yet.
Well,
Exactly, yeah.
until they can, because again, the key word here is solo.
Yes.
Yeah,
They're very good at
that's
doing solo
the
instruments.
other
If
thing.
you're going to do nice chords and stuff like that, forget it. Even if you separately record the tracks and you play them together, you go, well, it sounds like a violin. So if I record 70 violins, it will sound right.
No,
It doesn't.
No.
no.
And you go, okay, Spitfire.
Yeah.
And that's it's still a thing. I mean, we know these things move on and they get better and better and better. But at the moment, no. Sample libraries are still very much a valued tool
Yeah.
in the
Absolutely.
arsenal.
Yeah.
And will be for, I'd probably say, well, a few years yet.
Yeah. I mean, obviously,
It's a bit like, sorry, but it's
No,
a
no.
bit like when people said sample libraries are going to replace the Mellotron. It's never been more popular. There is a sound about the Mellotron and about that limitation of 8
It's
seconds.
the limitation, isn't it? Yeah.
The limitation makes you creative. We often talk about this. So just because it has all the articulation a string player would have, you've got to be able to play it. And sometimes a lot of people out there don't want to. They just want to have, they just want to be able to, give me a string set. Thank you very much. So I'm not sure it's going away anytime yet and anytime soon, and especially with the kind of key switching that a lot of the people, a lot of the developers are going into at the moment. So let's, we can certainly have a further discussion about this, but I don't think it's dead yet.
no. But I think we're getting close to certainly some parts being like, solo, for example, the solo strings. I think that
they're
level of
gorgeous.
expression, that level of
yeah.
expression you get through an MPE controller like the Osmos. I mean, obviously, if you watch that video, we showed a clip of it last week. They're using an Osmos, they're using a Touche, they've got all of this stuff, and the model strings are very good and very responsive. But as Ken rightly points out, you want to do a string section. I don't think they're quite there. Although SWAM instruments are very good, I just don't think they're quite where, like you say, where the samples are. But it's interesting.
Yeah.
It is interesting.
Well, I do like the
It is
cello on the
interesting.
VIA harmonic one.
Yeah. By the way, they've got a big discount thing. You can buy all 3 Bohemian instruments for $399, but there's only about a couple of days left on that.
Thanks for cheering me up.
Sorry. Yeah. They're very good.
Have we had any donations, by the way?
Yeah, we have, indeed.
Good
I was
Lord.
just about to bring those up.
Oh,
Robert Hex, thank you very much indeed. Hi, my little hobbits. I still love you all. It's just life trying to
little
penetrate.
hobbit.
Okay. Penetration is what we need.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Needs to be going,
dear.
here, does this look infected to you?
Yeah. Thank you, Sean. There, Sean's Synthspirations was very, very good indeed.
It was.
You look at his little icon there, you can probably tell what it was about. Brill Show, as always, cheers. Thank you very much indeed for your donations, gentlemen. Most appreciated.
Very good question in the chat. Did Mr. Longhurst donate his £2.73?
Oh, God, all right. Shall I do
God,
it? I mean,
yeah.
we're just getting to the end of it, but I'll do it. I'll do it now,
Yeah,
as it's
come on.
you. As you're
Well, we've got a couple of
been
minutes.
asking.
That's all right. We've got a couple of minutes.
Righty-ho, let's just do it.
So, yeah, there's that's it for this week in terms of news. We'll see what happens next week. I'm trying to think if there's anything interesting coming down the line. There might well be.
It is a fantastic review of the Synthpace CS80 coming up, I understand.
Of the...
The Soundpaint's CS80.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic review.
What
coming
are
up
we
next week?
So they say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Probably
and
the best review I've ever done ever.
apparently, yeah. Jason says, don't forget to like, please don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe as well.
Yeah, but it never said what. Cake?
Us.
Coffee? Oh, us.
Yeah.
I already like us.
I don't think we've got any guests coming up in the next few weeks, mainly because it's summer and people are going on holidays, and rightly so. Thank you very much indeed. Same to you. I'll tell you who we do have coming up, and you want to write this in your diaries. On the 8th of August, we've got the guys from Super Critical coming on the show. They are the guys behind the Redshift 6, which is just an incredible desktop synthesizer. So, mark that in your diaries, 8th of August, Super Critical. I'm working on a few other names to get on the show, but at the moment we're kind of getting into that summer holiday period.
We're always working on names, aren't we?
We are. We're always working
And
on
I
names.
believe, aside from names, I know that this young, lovely fella is doing his unboxing of the... we had the Mirage
Lovely,
programmer
not
on.
young.
Oh, he looks younger than me. Mind you, so does God.
That picture was taken 30 years ago.
Yeah, but you mix letters with numbers and he loses his mind.
I know.
Yeah. But the Mirage programmer, we had it on a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, that'll be
Great
interesting
looking
to
thing.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that'll
really
be
interesting to
see.
see.
If, when you get that and you've got the hang of it, Pete, we'll get you on and you can talk us through it. Anyway, well, there we go. We've hit 9 o'clock. We've done a show. Yay!
Yay!
I can have a couple of glasses of wine, and then I'm going to take my daughter to pick her first motor car up tomorrow.
Oh,
She's a little-
she's getting that other one then.
She's gone for the other one, and then
Right.
hopefully the week after that I'll pick my new one up. So it's all exciting. So I've got to take her tomorrow, pick her car up, and then I'll be back to watch Ramsey. He'll be on at, is it 1 or 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock at the moment, I think.
I think it's
Yeah.
about 1 o'clock, isn't it? Yeah.
I think it's
Because I know there's not a huge gap now between Synchrotron and
yeah, because Synchrotron's
Ramsey now.
at 10 a.m, isn't he?
yeah.
Let me just double check that. Let's see what time Ramsey's on. Live show from Ramsey is at 2 o'clock.
2 o'clock.
So yeah,
there's
go and
senior
watch.
synths. Jake's 3D's doing a senior.
Oh
synth
yes,
stream
senior
tomorrow,
synth
isn't
stream tomorrow as well. Of course, Jason Jervis is doing jamming with Jim Jams and Jackson at 10 o'clock on Sunday.
he? Sensible hour.
Yeah.
So we've got Glasto as well. We've got all of these wonderful synth shows. We've got Glasto throughout the weekend. There's
And that's
F1 from Austria. There's Wimbledon.
Oh, that
and-
starts on Monday, doesn't it?
Yeah. So there's all the preamble and these. It's a weekend of. I think I might go and sit in the garden and read a book
What's this?
and update this.
He's having some time off, his old synchrotron.
Oh,
Oh,
how
okay.
very dare you!
Well, somebody else will have to step up.
tomorrow.
won't they?
Somebody will have to step up, indeed.
No, I was
do it.
looking forward to deliberately ignoring you. Now I can't deliberately ignore you tomorrow. I mean,
I can't tune in tomorrow anyway because I'll be in the car. So
Oh, I like listening to him when I'm working.
I
It's nice.
particularly like
Soothing.
specifically ignoring him, making a note
Anyway.
of time and going, ha
hopefully,
No, I love
I'll
his
be
stuff.
finding some more time to bring this baby in and do
Oh,
some.
yeah.
I want to try and do some patches and maybe do some samples. Maybe make it a little decent sampler instrument.
Yeah, good
we can
idea.
give away. Looking forward to messing around with that. There you go. Right,
And
gentlemen.
OS3.
And OS3, yes. Want a report on that next week? Don't be late.
Yep.
You can't use that. Your granddad didn't die, and your dog didn't eat your homework.
No, but I am going up north. I should be back by Friday. Hello.
you go.
I should be back by Friday evening, but we're going up for our wedding anniversary.
You know you can
to
turn that
see-
feature off, don't you?
Yeah, I know, but I,
wish
love
you
it
would.
so much.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for your company. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and enjoy the rest of your weekend. It's just started. Have fun. Thanks to everyone for tuning in. We love to have you. Thank you very much indeed. We will see you same time, same place next week, where we'll be back discussing whatever news the world decides to throw our way. But until then, stay safe, have fun. Bye-bye.